Hershey, Pennsylvania is known by many as the sweetest place on earth. The average American is drawn to this place for one reason and one reason only: chocolate. But coaster enthusiasts come for a different reason, and that is for the coasters. And Hersheypark in Hershey, Pennsylvania definitely has a lot of them. This year, Hersheypark added Candemonium, a top-tier B&M hyper that has potential to be the best B&M hyper ever built. And on top of that, they have one of the most unique coaster collections, with them having 2 hyper coasters, an amazing Intamin launch coaster, a cool spinning coaster, and so much more. I think it's safe to say that this park is becoming a top-tier amusement park that coaster enthusiasts flock to. They may not be adding coasters at the same rate of parks like Busch Gardens Tampa, but nevertheless they are steadily growing. But even with the coaster collection so good, there is one type of coaster that they still do not have, and that is an RMC. An RMC would solidify the park's status as a top-tier park while being a cost-effective, epic new thrill coaster. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the possibility of Hersheypark getting an RMC in the future, as well as what type of RMC they would get. I'm going to go over all of the possibilities, including building a ground-up RMC and creating an RMC hybrid by RMCing an existing coaster. So join me as I answer the question of will Hersheypark get an RMC? But like always, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I post brand new videos just like this every week, and I absolutely love all the amazing support that this channel has been getting. But now let's get to the video. There has been talk of Hersheypark getting an RMC for a very long time. There have always been rumors ever since I can remember of this park getting one, but obviously nothing came to fruition. But even though we haven't seen an RMC yet, it doesn't mean we won't see one in the future. They not only have a bunch of old wooden coasters that could become hybrids, but now with Chocolate Town they also might have space to build ground up. However, I think the most likely option would be for them to RMC an existing coaster, and I'm going to tell you why. They certainly have enough space for a ground up RMC, but if they added it, they would be using a large chunk of the space that they have left. This has potential to completely landlock the park, so I think the best option is to RMC an existing Woody. And Hersheypark definitely has a lot of Woodies that could use the RMC treatment. Obviously, the first one that comes to mind is Wildcat. Not many people like this ride, and I personally haven't ridden it, but I hear that it's terribly rough, so giving it the RMC treatment would definitely fix these problems. On top of this, the layout is actually pretty decent, and in my opinion, it would make a very interesting RMC. However, there's actually a huge debate on whether this coaster will get RMC'd or not. You see, because this was the first GCI, a lot of people think that Hersheypark will never RMC it. They think that instead it will get a full GCI retrack. Now I'm going to go over the full debate in a little bit, but until then we need to talk about all of the other possibilities. The next wooden coaster that could get RMC'd is Lightning Racer. This is another GCI that is much better received than Wildcat, so I don't think that they will RMC this anytime soon. But on the off chance that they did decide to RMC it, it would honestly be amazing. You see, Twisted Colossus as of now is the only dueling RMC, so having another dueling RMC on the East Coast would honestly be amazing. And the last wooden coaster that they have is Comet. Comet is an old PTC coaster that isn't very big, and I don't think this coaster has much chance of being RMC'd at all. A lot of people really love this ride, and it's supposed to be decently smooth. On top of this, the layout doesn't seem like it would make a very good RMC at all, so RMCing this coaster is most likely off the table completely. So out of their 3 Woodies, I think the most likely to get the RMC treatment is Wildcat. Because Comet's layout would make a good RMC and Lightning Racer is actually liked, Wildcat seems like the best option. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of people think that they will never RMC this because it was the first GCI. Being the first GCI is a big deal, it's where GCI got started, so that leads many to believe that Hershey will never RMC this because of its sentimental value. But I'm going to tell you why I disagree with this. One thing I try to emphasize on this channel is the business aspect of the amusement industry, because believe it or not, a lot of coaster enthusiasts don't know the true purpose of a theme park. A lot of enthusiasts think the sole purpose of an amusement park is to just have amazing coasters and to make guests happy, but that isn't really the case. Their actual purpose is to have awesome coasters and to make guests happy while making money. You have to remember that theme parks are a business and they most likely do what will make them the most profit. So if Hershey thinks that RMCing Wildcat will bring them more profit, they're going to do it regardless of the sentimental value that Wildcat has. If Wildcat wasn't sentimental as a coaster like Loch Ness Monster at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, they would never even consider it. But because it doesn't have a huge fan base, RMCing it seems like a really good option. So I say that the sentimental value of it being the first GCI doesn't play as big of a role in their decision making as you would think. People are also throwing around the idea of a full GCI retrack to preserve its legacy. This is something along the lines of what Ghost Rider went through. But I think that this is more unlikely than it may seem. If the park is going to spend the money on a full retrack, they might as well just spend more money to get a better ride that will boost attendance. And an RMC Wildcat would serve as a brand new coaster, and with the right marketing, it would do very well. So I think there's much more of a chance that they will RMC it than give it a full GCI retrack. So if they did decide to RMC this thing, I think that they would most likely do it in 2024 or 2025. It would serve as a brand new coaster and it wouldn't take away any precious space. It would be extremely well received and it would put Hersheypark on the map as a thrill ride paradise. After Candemonium, an RMC hybrid just seems like the most logical option. Making Wildcat a hybrid is something that I think that they've been considering for a very long time. But hold on a second. RMC isn't the only company that makes hybrids. That's right, a few years ago a company other than RMC introduced their version of a hybrid. And this is where it gets interesting. That company was GCI. A lot of us enthusiasts forget this, but GCI can technically now make hybrids. So could Wildcat be converted into the first GCI hybrid? You know, I actually think it has a tiny chance of happening. If the price of a GCI hybrid is somewhere along the same lines of an RMC, maybe, just maybe, Hersheypark will surprise us all. This would be super interesting to see, and because it's the first GCI, I'm sure GCI would be more than happy to convert the first GCI into the first hybrid GCI. And because GCI hybrids are super different from RMCs, it would still put this park on the map. In my opinion, a GCI hybrid almost seems like the perfect solution for Wildcat. Because it was the first GCI, making it the first hybrid would make a lot of sense. And a GCI hybrid would also give the park a coaster that you can't find anywhere else. I also think it would provide very good media attention, equal to, if not better than, an RMC. Now, to be honest, I only think this has a slim chance of happening. In fact, an RMC in my opinion just seems a little bit more likely, but I still think this is very possible. And the last coaster that we didn't talk about is a Raptor. The RMC Raptor is becoming increasingly more popular, especially with coasters like Jersey Devil, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see one at Hersheypark eventually, maybe to replace their Boomerang. So now I'm going to give you my final verdict on if they will get an RMC or not, and my verdict is yes. I definitely think that they will get an RMC in the future, but more specifically RMC Wildcat. An RMC is perfect for the park, and Wildcat is the perfect coaster to convert into one. And this is one of my predictions that I'm fairly confident about. I think in 2024 or 2025 there is a huge chance that we will actually see this. The only caveat would be if the new GCI hybrids start really taking off. If they become more popular, I can easily see Hersheypark going with this. So to conclude, I honestly think that they will RMC Wildcat. I know a lot of people will probably disagree, but I think Hersheypark will soon see the addition of an RMC. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see content just like this every single week, and comment below your thoughts on Hersheypark getting an RMC. Do you think they will get one? And if you do, which one do you think they will get? This is the Coaster Josh signing out.